Hey everyone, Strangers103 here today with yet another replay cast. We are looking at, actually, a clan battle. Now, I believe I've turned down a few clan battles in the past, but I've been thinking about how I can actually do clan battles content, if you want, especially considering that we are approaching the end of the season now, and, well, of course, with the volatility of how clan battles is, there's a lot of things that really can go, things can change really, really fast, in fact. There's no such thing as a guaranteed win, or anything like that in clan battles, but regardless, this is UFR, and we have Vesco playing the Montana here with a double destroyer setup with one Des Moines triple Hindenburg, so it's kind of a... Well, the Des Moines is a very static ship. You don't want to try to push with it, because it just tends to get melted pretty fast. The opponent team is ENUF with a Yamato double Des Moines Hindenburg, Zhao, and a Gearing, so it's a bit more of a kind of static, because Yamato Des Moines, but kind of moving with, with moving elements with the Hindenburg, Zhao, and Gearing. So definitely two different setups that are pitching against each other on this match of Hotspot. Now, we have one Yueyang heading with a Hindenburg to the western side of the map, which does in this case mean, I believe... I'm not exactly sure, but our Hindenburgs are not going for a cap, and we do actually catch an early spot on the enemy's Hindenburg, although the potential issue of that is, of course, that the enemy Hindenburg has a chance of spotting our Hindenburg, and, well, if we're trying to make an early move, then, of course, that may not be a bad thing. Now, we're opting here not to open fire. We could open fire because the islands here would kind of block vision from the other side, and it's generally safe enough to be able to shoot at them. But it turns out we're waiting for other targets, and, targets we definitely seem to have. The enemy team seems to be going pretty aggressively down the western side of the map here. We need to be careful of this because they could be swiveling some, a Des Moines here and a Des Moines here with a move to try to envelop and cut this off and make these guys try to make a kind of a reactionary play. So we need to be aware of that, trying to gain some information. Now, launching a scout plane may not even be that bad of a deal. However, taking the chance that we're not actually going to get detected, we open fire on this enemy Hindenburg. If this wipes him, 20k. But if he had wiped him, of course, this would have been a major advantage for our team at the very beginning of the game. Unfortunately, I don't think we can shoot the Hindenburg anymore. Maybe Yoyang will get some torpedoes in there. And now, obviously, we are spotted by the enemy's Yamato. So, I mean, they know exactly where we are. I mean, the Hindenburg would have reported that when he had taken the initial salvo already. Seems like there's a lot of people that want to shoot at us, so we may want to be careful of our position. It might just be better to tank one Yamato salvo and start advancing away, and take up more kitey positions, because chances are we're going to be able to contest Charlie. Now, the Yamato really, really derps his salvo, and he gets absolutely nothing, but there is a small chance he might actually get some more against us in case he's ready, but now it's just a awkward staring contest, really. We need 10 kilometers range. We can actually try to target the Yamato's gun turrets. However, it does appear that the Hindenburg over there is a bit of an interesting target coming back. And there we go, launching our scout plane. The Yamato would likely be reporting this to the Hindenburg, but I don't think it's early enough. And it turns out the Yamato really messes up the shot and sends it a little bit too far forward into the island. And, well, we do get a really good salvo against the Hindenburg, leaving him incredibly low already. Yeah, the angle we're maintaining here is actually not bad against Yamato. If he doesn't know exactly where to shoot us, he's going to struggle to be able to fully penetrate. But we need to be careful, because chances are we're going to start absorbing some attention. We're not actually contesting Charlie at the moment, and the Yamato derps another salvo. Time to heal now, definitely a good idea. No, there we go. No reason to hold that back. Opening fire against the Hindenburg, if we're able to finish him off, which we do, that's going to be a very, very nice boost to the overall situation in a way. And it's really just up to the Gearing and Des Moines on Charlie to try to make a move on the enemy team. And overall, let me have a look at the health pool of our fleet behind us. It's actually reasonable enough. Yoyang, if he has smoke, which I doubt he is, because only one Des Moines, he's most likely going to be running radar. If he had smoke, of course, he could smoke up this Hindenburg over there, and he can return fire safely without bleeding health. However, the Hindenburg reinforcements we have here have a lot of health, so really it just is us being a tank, or at least as much of a tank as possible, and going for a round trade against the Yamato is obviously very good here if we do get the opportunity, and he messes it up. So the Yamato is thinking, oh, well, the Montana's ignoring me, so I'm going to ignore him as well. However, in a close pass situation, the Montana has all of the advantages against the Yamato, because Granted, the Yamato can lull pen the front of the Montana, which he didn't opt to do at this point. So this Yamato is in a really awkward situation. He cannot away turn right now, and he's not necessarily going to be loaded. So if we push for the close pass, and at this point, we're going to pause this, we actually want to be swiveling pre-turning our turrets to point in this kind of an area. So when we perform the close pass, we can just go right into him. But in this case, you know, it may not be the best because, well, we're going to be making an incredibly close pass, which means we won't actually have the gun depression. So we just need to be aware of that. So let's see what this guy's going to do in this case. And there we go. Starting to swivel the gun turrets around. And at this point, oh dear, that looks like that Yamato looks screwed because we are close enough. Well, we're not too close is what I'm trying to say. We are not too close. We do get a complete wipe against him. He's dead. The Moines is almost dead. And this game is already looking majorly, of course, in UFR's favor with the generally poor trades that the opponent team tried to get in the beginning stages. Des Moines is getting hammered and taken down. We're still on fire a little bit, and we're actually bleeding, but hopefully we'll be able to push ourselves around the corner, whilst on the right side of the map, the Gearing Des Moines is running into a bit more trouble, but the enemy Zhao's committed himself into the camp, so if our Des Moines is just able to stay kind of out of the combat, then that's going to be a, you know, generally a lockdown, and of course, we can now just sail our Montana into A, cap that, come back in 3 minutes with a lot more health to play with. And, well, we need to deal with the Hindenburg behind us first, and once our camo resets, the Zhao is no longer able to shoot us from sea, who, interestingly enough, was trying to blink us. If you wanted to be cheeky, we can actually wait till this island puts us between, you know, this and the enemy, and actually try to shoot that, while we can shoot over the island here. At this Hindenburg over here is already having a really, really poor time trying to deal with the rest of the fleet. We also have a full HP Hindenburg over there, so the enemy's push on this flank has basically already failed. And with that, it's basically GG already. The Yamato failed to kill us, and he failed to focus on us, when realistically speaking, he probably could have. Even if the enemy team do breach and kill the Des Moines over there, they still have, well, at this point they have no battleship, and they are position-wise not actually in that good of a spot. So, well, we really just need to try to get ourselves around. We can actually do a little bit of blinking over here, but it's just a matter of us getting around into A, taking the Alpha cap, just as a bit of a security. In the end, I don't think capping or not capping the Alpha flag is likely to turn out to be a major difference, as we actually miss the Zhao. What really is going to matter here is just getting our health back, getting in, and just enveloping the enemy fleet and killing them. And that Des Moines is looking majorly screwed at this point. The Hindenburg is kind of pulling away with the rest of the fleet trying to come in, but the health difference here is absolutely huge. As long as our Yue Yang can stay, you know, alive for a little bit longer, I mean, guy's full HP, so that's not going to be a major problem. We can just go in there and, you know, deal some bonus damage against the enemy fleet, who's going to have to kind of deal with the general cruiser setup that we have remaining. If this Des Moines doesn't know we're here, then we can actually just shoot over the island right now, but it appears that the guy may be trying to slow it down, but if he's trying to do anything, he should be going forwards and tucking himself onto the island, because it should be reasonably apparent to him that, well, we're over here, considering the fact that we were spotted heading this direction. And obviously now it's known, but, you know, the shells are already arriving, and we just entered A, which obviously would have been the telltale that we're there, but, it's too late for the Des Moines, who really should have pushed forwards to try to use the island to conceal himself. Well, not necessarily conceal himself from us, but just use that as cover so that we can't necessarily get a good, easy shot off on him. And we're not even spotted at this point, not a big deal. Yue Yang's coming over to support us, because in general, using, you know, a destroyer to support a bunch of Hindenburgs, which can perma hydro, isn't a major deal. They just need to wipe out this enemy Zhao at this point, launching our plane just to see if we can't get a decent shot. We're assuming a full hard turn away. I personally don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to try to, yeah, there you go, turn to maintain his firepower to try to deal additional damage. But, I mean, it's not going to really change the outcome of the game. I guess it's just him trying to deal some more damage at the end of it. So that's a bit of an unfortunate salvo from our end. Yue Yang runs into the gearing, guns blazing against the Hindenburgs. So, I mean, I guess he's already realized that the game's done. So this looks like the wipe on the gearing, and we do end up getting the kill. 5 overpens, 1 gun, and down she goes. Unlikely this torpedo's heading in our way. So there you go, GG's being handed out. Good game overall. The enemy team's push didn't actually pay off in this case. they kind of got themselves not necessarily bogged down, but they never actually managed to cut off and apply pressure on the central area. Instead, they had a split group that ran into the majority of the defenders. And in this kind of a situation, we need to remember Des Moines are not pushing ship. Even though we had Yueyang gearing here, them having an additional Des Moines is basically saying they have one less ship that can push. So, the usefulness of a destroyer in a defense and a Des Moines in a push is around about the same. So the setups were definitely equal here. And with us having a complete control of the western side, and the enemy Yamato not actually trying to contest us at all, does actually mean that, well, we got away with killing their Yamato basically for completely free. Well, we almost went down at the end, and yeah, I think the island's going to absorb all of that. Well, we almost actually went down in the end of the battle there. It didn't actually matter. And as UFR playing the song of their people. But in the end, it didn't. In the end, the health we lost didn't matter because we were not finished off. We survived the battle, and that really is an incredibly important part of clan battles, is knowing what you can survive. And in that situation, we could have gone for the ram trade, and going for the ram trade might have been the safer option against the Yamato, because it basically would have assured that, well, the enemy Yamato dies. But considering the Yamato, well, but once we noticed that he didn't actually open fire on us, and instead opted to shoot at some of our cruisers, despite us in that situation being the much more dangerous threat, and his health bar definitely noticed that when he got close, Yamato's performed much better, beyond 5 kilometer range. The moment enemy ships start closing the distance, the big citadel, the hexagonal, actually it's technically an octagon, like the kind of forward slanted slopes, means that you are citadelable at a much earlier angle in the Yamato than any other tier 10 battleship. And that's something that very few people kind of fully understand. And if you do get yourself in a close pass situation like we did, we took full advantage of that and basically wiped the enemy Yamato out without him actually being able to get the guns to swivel. Slightly risky in terms of our rear turrets. You fired the number 1 and 2 turrets absolutely perfectly, but at that point, with every single shell actually basically having gone into the citadel, the Yamato was already dead, so the result of our rear turrets was actually 100% irrelevant as well, so that didn't really turn out to matter. Yes, overall, a very good defense of the enemy's western push. They didn't really manage to use the forces they had to cut off the right targets, so it kind of just turned into small groups of engagements where people could still focus on their individual targets. And that ended up, well, with equal pushing force, the defending team is more likely to win, simply because the defending team is effectively farther away in terms of your aim, which means less accuracy, less damage overall, whereas the pushing team is basically closer than the actual physical distance because, in this case, they're pushing. It's just a matter of, travel time and the ballistic, arcs to keep in mind there. So with basically an equal setup, considering the enemy team pushed because they had doubled Des Moines, it made it in general easier for us to deal with. A very high risk strategy, but if it is revealed way too early, and in this case our Yueyang and Hindenburg on the western side, and the Hindenburg got away with it, that's the thing to remember here. Because of that, the enemy team on the western side, they didn't have the advantage that they potentially would have had, which is the element of surprise, and they just simply could not push down the forces that they ran into, because a kiting Hindenburg is still very difficult to kill. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this replay cast. I normally I turn down clan battles content. One of the reasons is, well, I mean, in this case, I would hope or assume that the UFR players, although UFR really, as far as I know, doesn't really kind of quote unquote exist anymore in the state that it used to be. It's kind of split up like half of it into rain now with as well. So, but in general, a part of it is, I mean, I am still kind of showcasing some of the strategies involved, which is why I'm pushing it to the late end of the season where it no longer really matters anymore. The second thing is, people obviously need to be comfortable with their entire team being comfortable having this sent in, and published like this. It's kind of why I generally kind of avoided doing it. But with the second season coming very soon to a close, I might actually be picking up some of the first season clan battles from Omni, and I might pick out some of the interesting ones there to showcase to you guys from my point of view, actually, my own personal point of view, there will be no original recordings, no original voice from Clan Battle. There will just be replay casts like this one for me, though. Yes, 170k damage, 7 Citadel, I think 5 of them off the enemy Yamato, and the other 2 against the Des Moines. Definitely a very, very well handled engagement with the enemy Yamato that really basically completely crushed any chance the opponent team had on the western flank. Even if we had died right after killing the Yamato, it still would have been a superior trade because we had the superior health, we had the superior positions, and with their battleship gone and them having lost the flank, it pretty much is GG at that point when you're stuck with just a Des Moines left. Because the Des Moines really doesn't have the pushing power. Even though you're only dealing with cruisers, those cruisers with a destroyer can still make a mess out of a Des Moines situation. But, it didn't really end up like that, and we made a mess out of the Des Moines' health because he wasn't exactly in a best position, broadside best side. He wasn't in the best position overall in the end stage of the game. Perhaps didn't come across to think that the Montana is likely heading towards A instead of pushing straight towards, and exposes broadside to a skull, which, was promptly punished. Yes, hope you guys enjoyed this replay cast. Take care, and I will catch you guys in the next one.